Welcome to the Restricted Handling Podcast. Let's dig in. Here's what's been going on in Russia in the last 24 hours. Let's start with something we heard about yesterday, the U.S. temporarily lifting sanctions on Russian oil shipments. Yes, we're talking about the 30-day waiver that just came through, allowing countries to purchase some of that oil that's been stranded at sea. This is a response to the skyrocketing oil prices caused by the ongoing Middle East conflict. With the Strait of Hormuz essentially shut down by Iran's aggressive actions, global oil supplies are taking a massive hit. The U.S. is trying to keep those prices in check, even if it means giving Russia a little bit of breathing room. It's a tricky game. Boosting energy prices only gives Russia more cash to funnel into their war chest. It's like a short-term fix that might have some very long-term consequences. Now, switching over to Ukraine, yesterday we talked about that major missile strike on the Kremniy plant in Bryansk, Russia. We've got an update. On March 10th, Ukrainian forces launched a precise strike on this factory that's crucial for producing microchips and electronics for Russia's missile systems. We're talking about Storm Shadow missiles, courtesy of the UK and France. This wasn't just a disruption. It was a solid blow to Russia's war machine. As we mentioned before, Ukraine's striking power is hitting new levels, and this particular attack is a signal that they're not backing down anytime soon. Russia, of course, wasn't thrilled. They're calling it a terrorist strike, but in reality, this is one of those moves that'll leave a mark on Russia's production capabilities. On the topic of Russia, let's keep our eyes on their growing relationship with Iran. It's not just about the oil here. There's been some interesting intel sharing between the two. Following the recent death of Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in a U.S.-Israeli airstrike, Putin sent his condolences to the new Iranian leadership. The Kremlin is making it clear they're committed to deepening ties with Tehran. They've been swapping military intel, especially information about U.S. military positions, though so far, no major impact has been confirmed by the White House. Still, this relationship is one to watch closely, as both Russia and Iran continue to lean into each other as they face off against the West. Now, let's talk about some military action updates. We're seeing more of those small-scale Russian attacks in Kharkiv, Kupiansk, and Donetsk. Nothing new there. But here's the thing. Russia's not gaining much ground. They're trying these infantry-based assaults, but Ukrainian forces have been able to push back, particularly in Zaporizhzhia. Russia's still throwing troops into the fight, but their momentum is slowing. They're not moving as quickly as they once did, and that's a sign that Ukraine's defense efforts are paying off. Russia's been trying to make some noise, but it's like throwing darts at a board and missing every time. And speaking of air defense, the drone war continues. And it's not just Ukraine dealing with the fallout. Russian drones have been getting too close for comfort to NATO countries. Just recently, Polish fighter jets scrambled when Russian missiles launched near NATO airspace. Now, no violations of airspace occurred, but you can bet the Polish are watching those Russian moves like hawks. This is just a reminder that the conflict is getting closer to NATO's doorstep. Sure, Russia's still focused on Ukraine, but they're also flexing their muscles near NATO borders. The tension in the air? You can feel it. Let's shift gears for a second, back to Russia's sneaky oil operations. You remember the shadow fleet of Russian tankers moving oil around the world under the radar, right? Well, Sweden's been keeping an eye on this, and they just intercepted one of these ships suspected of violating sanctions. It's the same old story. Russia's figuring out new ways to get its goods and oil out while the West tries to shut them down. It's a game of cat and mouse that's been going on for months, and right now, Russia seems to be winning. The sanctions are slowing them down, but they haven't been able to fully choke off Russia's ability to move resources. Let's hit the EU for a minute. Hungary and Ukraine are still at odds over the Druzhba pipeline. If you remember from yesterday, this is about a Russian oil pipeline that's been damaged by Russian airstrikes. Hungary's pressuring Ukraine to speed up repairs so they can get that Russian oil flowing again. Ukraine's not exactly rushing to fix it, though. The political timing is interesting, too. Hungary's in the middle of election season, and Prime Minister Viktor Orbán is playing this one for all it's worth. He's been making all sorts of anti-Ukraine statements, trying to boost his political standing with voters. This is a messy situation, and it's a reminder that energy and politics are always tangled up together. And last but not least, let's talk a bit more about drones and AI. We saw yesterday that Ukraine's been diving into artificial intelligence for their drone operations. And now they're opening up their battlefield data for allies to train AI models. This could be a huge step forward, as it'll allow drones to identify and target enemy positions more effectively. Ukraine's already been using drones in combat, but with AI, they can take things to a whole new level. This is a huge deal, not just for Ukraine, but for anyone who's been paying attention to the evolution of military technology. Ukraine's pulling ahead in the drone arms race, and if they keep pushing the envelope with AI, it's going to make them a force to reckon with. Thanks for listening and being part of the RH community. Please take a moment to leave a 5-star review. If you want to see some changes, email us at info@restrictedhandling.com. We also publish a daily written intel brief on Substack, where you'll find even deeper coverage of Russia and China, along with insights on Iran, the Middle East, and the DPRK.